And when we lean more into this martyr effect, assuming we are humbling ourselves in being able to provide support for people, we actually overlook a really powerful opportunity for people to learn to invest in themselves. Welcome to the Riley June Show. I'm your host, Riley June, international intuition coach and spiritual activator. This podcast is designed for the souls who are ready to dive into what spirituality, consciousness, and healing truly is like. Here you will find the conversations and insight most spiritual teachers aren't willing to have. Why? Because we pull back the curtain on what truly takes place as you move through your healing journey, the duality of the light and the dark, and the role ethics and integrity undeniably play in your ascension experience. I have had the pleasure of working with tens of thousands of people, from clients, stories shared through messenger chats, and others in the industry to know exactly what this journey will look like for you. These episodes will share conversations of industry leaders bridging the gap to the new paradigm of reality, and individuals sharing their heart through their soul's journey they've been through and what they've learned along the way. So if you're ready to go deep, unlock truth, and activate into the blueprint of you, this is going to be a space you're not going to want to miss out every Monday. Are you ready? Let's activate. All right, welcome back to another session. I'm really excited to dig into this one today because one, we're going to be talking about all things money, not only the strategies behind it, but also the energy behind it, and really helping you to evolve your way of thinking and feeling around this topic. So first of all, understand that as a spiritual entrepreneur, you are stepping into a realm, whether you're just getting started or whether you've been in this space for some time, you're stepping into a realm that is projected to be a $20 billion industry in 2022. This year alone, people are going to be turning to personal development more so than they ever have before. So just know that your work is so wildly needed in this world. People are literally praying for it. And even more so, they are paying for it. Now, one of the things that I see with spiritual entrepreneurs is there's this deep humbling effect that takes place. And I almost want to say that it borders more a martyr type of energy than it really does a humbling energy. You went through something in your life, big or small, tragic or minor, that you realized you needed healing from. And someone was brave enough to step up in this world and say, hey, I'm going to learn this thing. I'm going to take this course. I'm going to understand this modality. I'm going to take this risk. I'm going to start my own business. And you found their healing work. And it transpired in supporting you and transforming your own life. And you felt this deep calling to turn around and support other people in being able to experience for themselves too. That's not something small to just overlook, right? As you are stepping into learning a modality, you already have one that you've learned, or you've been doing this for quite some time. We really get to work on this martyr effect that takes place where we want to give everything away. You have to understand that at every single price point, there is a customer. Think of vehicles, for example. At every different style, make, and model of vehicle, there is a different price point, and there's going to be a different customer for that experience. Your services work in the same way. And when we lean more into this martyr effect, assuming we are humbling ourselves in being able to provide support for people, we actually overlook a really powerful opportunity for people to learn to invest in themselves. There's this meme that always goes around. And if you're watching this on YouTube, I'll pull it up. And it's like $30 for a takeout meal is good, but $30 for supplements is too much. $100 for a night out on the town is good, but $100 to invest in a self-development course is too much. Something to that effect. And it's so wildly true, right? Our perceived value of what money provides for us has been so warped based on societal standards and past conditionings that we view instantaneous results as more of a benefit to us than the long-term gain that we get to experience by showing up and investing in ourselves. And equally as a spiritual entrepreneur, holding your energy, holding your vibration, holding your price points for your clients to rise up to you. It can be very disheartening in the beginning when you're just starting out and you want to have those growth results. You want to have more people on your Instagram list. You want to have more people in your communities. You want to be able to make more money. You want to be able to make more money every single month. And I'm not saying you shouldn't have that. And I'm also not saying you cannot achieve that. But when that becomes your primary focus, your income is going to fluctuate so much because you're constantly going to be changing your prices. And I see this happen time and time again. And I equally got to learn this lesson as well. And arguably, I'm even in a stage where I'm finding different methods and strategies around fluctuating price points for clients. And I'm going to talk about this today. Okay. So when I got started, there was the last video that I did talk more about this. I'm not going to go too much into detail, but when I first got started, I picked a number that I could justify for like an absolute basic experience, like groceries. And that worked for me really well until I was burning myself out because I was overbooking myself. I had totally gotten away from being able to spend time with my family. And I was more fixated on people being able to pay and afford $30 of my time and having no boundaries. Now, boundaries are not for your clients to uphold. Boundaries are a standard you get to set for yourself and your work. Remember, this is your business. This is your practice. This is your time and energy that people want to be a part of. And know that the right person will be there to pay the very cost and price that you want to experience and have and receive in your business. Imagine going into a store and picking up a candle off the shelf and saying, wow, I really love this, but I can't afford it right now. That person's not going to just be like, oh, well, how much can you afford? That person is probably going to give you a secondary option of maybe another candle or something similar at a lower price point that might be in your realm of interest, right? So my point is that when you're constantly fluctuating your price points, when you're constantly more concerned about whether your clients can afford your work versus holding a standard for them to rise up to you, you do yourself and your clients such a disservice because now you become a bargaining tool. You become a bargaining business, and people will actually lose respect and lose interest in what you do because they know that if they argue the price or they say they can't afford it or they wait a week or a couple days, the price will very likely go down. And what happens is your time, your mindset management, and your energy starts to dip below. See, as a spiritual entrepreneur, doing readings, doing healings, doing coaching, you're setting a standard for your clients to rise. You went through something, you overcame it. And of course, you're on the ever evolving personal journey that this experience takes you on, but you became one step further ahead of somebody else. And you get to hold that vibration, that frequency to be able to support them in it. Imagine being a coach for someone who supports women in overcoming narcissistic relationships, but yet you're constantly fluctuating all over the place with your advice, with the emotions that you hold in your own personal life, in your own price points, right? And then equally going out to find other people or attract other people in your life that aren't in alignment with you. How can you genuinely say that you found a new standard surrounding relationships if you're still going out desperately trying to find somewhere to fit in, right? Oftentimes, the reason why women end up in relationships, or even men end up in relationships with narcissists, is because there's a part of them that deeply seeks acceptance from someone outside of them, or deeply seeks love and validation from someone outside of them. So when you're not validating yourself and when you're grasping at straws, you're not actually in a better position to then turn around and be able to provide that support. You're either not leaning on your tools that you have and techniques, or you just genuinely don't live out the life that you say that you do. And that can be extremely frustrating for you and for you as a business owner, because you're constantly wondering why things don't work. Your consistency is not consistent. And so your clients energetically that you attract and also that you work with, or the ones that are in your realm, your wheelhouse of work that you do, are going to be in that same vibration too. Now, that's not to say that that's a bad thing, that people can't be in that vibration, that people can't be in those experiences. But if you, as a spiritual practitioner, as the leader of the work that you say that you do, is there to uphold a standard, you have to learn to live that through and through. And if in those moments of desperation, you can't even conceptualize how you're going to make your rent, or how it's going to work out, or how you're going to pay your bill, we're doing a lot of release through this as well, I guess, then you don't trust in the work that you're doing. And it's a harsh truth, but it's a true truth. And we all get to go through this. Even in the last video that I talked about imposter syndrome, right? We're going to feel like when we raise our prices, who am I to do this? Who's going to be able to afford $100 more? Who's going to be able to afford a couple $1,000s more for this experience? But the truth is that that's where you get to up level your thinking. That's where you get to up level your practice. That's where you get to learn to surrender even more into what you're doing. And that's where your skill set becomes wildly important, right? What got you to the level that you're at is not going to get you to the next level that you want to be sustainably. Meaning that if you, I'll use myself for an example. So I started to cross the 5-figure months doing card readings. So if we pull out a calculator, just to give you an idea of how much time that really was, let's say, okay, $10,000 a month, and at $180 a reading, I was doing almost 2 to 3 readings per day, or some days I was doing like 5 or 6 readings just to have like a weekend off. It's essentially 55 readings at $180. Even though they were 30-minute sessions, I was booked so solid and going so crazy that I didn't hardly even then have the time to not only just live this life that I wanted to create and experience, or that I had created and wanted to experience, but I wasn't really giving the best to my clients either. And so instead, what I learned to do was take some of these concepts, some of these patterns and themes that a lot of my clients were experiencing, and turn them into courses. Now, at that point, I had never built a course. I had never made a course. I didn't even know how to teach a course, but I knew that there was a common theme among many, many, many of these clients that were coming to me, and that I could transition them into a space where they could self-learn. For spiritual entrepreneurs coming into this industry, you get to evolve what you do. And if you're banking off of one-on-one sessions with readings and healings, inevitably it's going to burn you out. Now, it is a great place to start, especially with coaches. You have to start with the one-on-one stuff because it gives you the understanding of what the themes and the patterns of your clients are that are coming to you. So you can better support them, have more clarity around your messaging, and just have a better concept of the work that you're meant to put out into this world at this time. And then the courses start to alleviate having to book out all of those experiences or all of those time blocks that you're doing with individuals by starting to bring people into a group container, even if you did it pre-recorded, right? But you have to learn to evolve along the way. So something that I had mentioned a little bit in the beginning of this was that even right now, I'm working with different levels of strategies. So something that I really value is my community. I would not be where I am today without the people who have found me or who have been a part of my journey for the last 6 months, year, 2 years, 4 years, 4.5 years since I got started. And as I start to put out new programs and as I ultimately start to pivot a lot of the work that I'm doing, I will go back into the community and I will offer reduced rates for new programs that I know can serve specific people. That doesn't mean that everybody's going to say yes at the full rate or whatever the discounted rate is. But what I am learning to do is to get into my community more and to speak to people who are in the realm of where I want to help them. Meaning that for all the women that are in my communities and that run their own spiritual practices or that I know want to run their spiritual practices, I can reach out to them and I can get a better understanding of where they're at and what they're looking for. And whether they say yes or no to the program is irrelevant. There's a surrender in it, right? So where before I was so fixated on making the money, I've learned to step back and surrender because I know that at the price points that I'm offering, that it doesn't matter whether they say yes or no. I get to hold that standard. I get to let them come up to that space and either tailor my messaging if it's something that needs to be clarified more, or just know that that's not the person for this program at this time, and that's okay. But that doesn't mean that because I'm not making X amount of dollars or that everybody's saying yes, that all of a sudden diminishes my worth, diminishes my value. And sure, there have been times in the past, and I'm so blessed and thankful to say that this isn't the case anymore. But there has been times in the past where I did desperately need money to pay bills or to cover rent or to cover car payments. And it was when I constantly fluctuated in my price points, desperately trying to get more people. There was this needy, yucky energy about it. And I felt gross in that space too, right? And you likely will as well, if not do, if you're facing something like this too. So what I'm going to invite you to take away from this, and we're going to go into how you can up-level yourself surrounding this concept of charging more, attracting the clients that are meant to be in your space and containers, and also just leveling up your energy around the value and the worthiness of your products and services. So the first one is you have to learn to think differently about money. And the way that you learn to think differently about money is to educate yourself about money, right? So we can sit in meditation, and I'm even going to knock myself because I used to say this all the time. You can sit in meditation and you can sit with the vibration of freedom and just having more in your bank account and just experiencing going on the trips and doing the things that, success and freedom mean to you. But then at the end of the day, if you haven't even read a book about money, you haven't learned about the psychology of it, you haven't taken any other information in to understand it in a better context, you're not actually supporting yourself. Now, yes, energy is everything, and meditation is a very powerful tool, but you have to learn to start thinking like an employee, like a business owner versus an employee. We're all trained and conditioned in our society to think like employees, meaning that we go to school, we get a job, we get a retirement fund, we're all set up, we work, 20 to 40 hours a week or more, and we're just taken care of. Our taxes are deducted. We basically just have to go to H&R Block, they file it, and everything's good as gold. But when you're a business owner, there is so much more to money. And this isn't to scare anyone off, but to actually just educate you in the way that you're thinking about it. You are responsible for setting aside those taxes. You are responsible for better money management. You are responsible for budgets and for just understanding the influxes or the fluctuations of your income. And when you are running a sustainable and six-figure business, as a spiritual entrepreneur, there is strategy that is involved, and money education becomes so wildly important because, again, like I said, if you want to evolve your experience, you have to learn to educate yourself, just like in your skill set. If you want to be able to take your clients into a deeper space of transformation, emotionally, mentally, and spiritually, you have to evolve, educate yourself, your surrounding your understanding of that experience of what it is that you're doing. So money works in the same fashion. Now, when it comes to getting into the energy of it, it is really truly about the gratitude that everybody talks about. It's easy to overlook the power you have on in your house and the water that's running and the groceries in the fridge and the clothes that you have to fold for laundry. It really comes down to some of those basic things. And you can pick or select or get gifted to you affirmations or mantras that you can say around money. And they are wildly helpful because in order to retrain your thoughts, you have to do things on repetition. That's equally where the education and the repetition come into play for you. You say something long enough and enough times, you'll eventually believe it yourself. But it really comes down to some of the basic things that you have in your life, the foundational things you have in your life, where you get to reroute into your own foundation. What is money providing for you in your life right now that you are wildly overlooking, right? Oftentimes, I like to take my clients back to laundry. How often do you let the laundry go or just, and him and haw about the laundry having to get done or not getting done or piling up in the corner, right? All of that laundry represents money, whether it was handed down to you or whether it was thrifted or whether you went out and you spent it yourself. The dishes in the sink represent nourishing food that filled your body, represent dishwashers or sinks that are going to run to fill and to clean all those bowls up, the electricity to be able to provide the light for you to see to do that, the coffees you have in the morning, the TVs that your kids get to watch or the movie nights that you get to have, like the furniture you sit on. Come back to the foundational things that you already have. And when you go to buy more groceries and when you go to buy more clothes and when you go to bring in more assets and investments and experiences into your life, you have so much more appreciation for it because you've been spending the time just in what you already have, feeling so incredibly grateful for it, that this just gets to be a complement of that experience. And this is where the energy signatures come in, because it is from gratitude that you create more things that you're grateful for. It is from lack that you will then create more lack thereof, right? So even in your price points, if you're in that space of desperation, I'm not saying that you might not be, you very well could be. But are you focusing on the desperation of needing it right now, or are you focusing on the gratitude of it? And even as I'm saying this to you, it is becoming a reminder to me. And even though I practice this on the daily, it's still something that you truly can never hear enough of, because we are human beings and we will get caught up in the things of the world, right? But understand that you don't take any of this with you. You literally take nothing with you when you cross over to the other side. And so when you're living in this life, when you're building a scalable business, when you're desiring to make more income, when you want to make more impact in people's lives, because ultimately results drive sales, you get to be undeniably grateful for these experiences that you already currently have. Because if you're already in the space where you're overlooking what you have, you're not going to be able to produce better or higher or greater results because you already don't appreciate where you are. So I want to leave this with you. Okay. Love you. I want to leave this one with you today because spiritual entrepreneurs, people are out there praying for your work. And it is through your bold and brave actions, not your confident actions, but your bold and brave actions that you're showing up in this world to set a new standard, to create a new result, to truly help people live in different ways. And you equally get to have the desires that go along with that. You equally get to want to experience more or better or freedom and all of it in between as you grow and evolve yourself. And so I would love to hear from you if you're watching this on YouTube in the comments below. What is something that you are grateful for today? And how has this video supported you in hopefully reshaping or reframing your mindset surrounding your services and your income? Remember, you're accessing a $20 billion industry in this year alone. Next year, it's only going to go up. The world is in a chaotic state, but you can focus on being a problem and perpetuating more problems in that, or you can focus on being a solution. And the solution people are the ones who typically rise to the top. So I want to see you thrive. I want to see you succeed, because when you succeed, other people are succeeding too. When you're manifesting the things that you want in your life and they're showing up physically, tangibly, you can touch them, taste them, smell them, see them, feel them, hear them, that means other people are as well. The ripple effect of change is profound. It is truly unmeasurable. And people need what you have to offer now more so than ever in this world. Distractions are on an all-time high, and discernment is so important. So you are responsible for leading with that frame of mind of rewiring and becoming more intentional and taking those bold, brave actions to continue to show up, to not give up, and to continue to let people know that you have something that is here to solve their problem. All right. I hope this message supported you well today. I cannot wait to see you inside the Align and Ascend Mastermind. It is a 90-day accelerator for spiritual entrepreneurs. If you are seeking deeper connection to the essence, your intuition, your development of your skill sets, these strategies to help you to move forward, and I always forget the third one, pregnancy brain. The development, there we go, the business development, actually learning what is required to build a 6-figure business. Now, be in it for the long game, be in it for the long-term gain, because that's where you're really going to see yourself thrive versus, like I gave the example earlier, the $30 for takeout versus the $30 for supplements, right? The long-term benefit outweighs the instantaneous results, but that doesn't mean you can't have both. All right. I love you guys. Until next time. Before you go, I would love and appreciate so much if you could take a moment of your time to leave a 5-star review. It helps me to be able to get this message out to so many more in the world. And I am so truly thankful that you choose this place to be every single week. Until next time, don't forget to find the magic in today.